No one expected the great magician to die that night. He wasn't just a performer, he was the heart of the town. The one who turned poverty into wonder, silence into applause. And when they found him dead in his tower, the town didn't cry first. They looked for someone to blame. That's when she appeared. Her name was Marie. A girl no one truly knew, yet somehow everyone knew of her. Quiet, talented, too talented. After the magician's death, Marie stepped forward and performed magic no one had ever seen before. Spells. Even the great magician himself had never dared to try. People whispered, "How did she learn that? Why now? Why after his death?" Then the clues began to surface. A torn page from the magician's journal, written in her handwriting. Footprints outside the tower, her shoe size. A witness who swore they saw her near the tower that night. Everything pointed to Marie. Too perfectly. But the town didn't care. They turned their backs on her. They stared at her like she was already guilty. And when she tried to defend herself, they called it manipulation. Only one person stood beside her, Levi. Kind, gentle, always calm. The boy who spoke softly and looked at Marie like he believed her, even when no one else did. Truth doesn't shout, he told her. It waits. And the town listened to him. Then there was Paul, the head of the old magician, a 20-year-old man everyone trusted because he had helped everyone. The baker, the orphan, the widow, even Marie. Paul cooperated fully with the investigation, answered every question, never raised his voice. No one suspected him. Not the town, not Levi, not even Marie herself. As days passed, the hatred grew louder. Marie began to wonder something terrifying. What if the town is right? What if the truth really does point to me? And somewhere in the shadows, the real murderer watched. Quiet, patient, unseen. Because the best trick a magician ever pulls is making you look exactly where he wants.
Morning arrived like an intruder. The sun pressed through the thin curtains, laying pale bars of light across the floor. Everything felt untouched, paused, except her chest, which ached with the quiet persistence of grief. By the time she stepped outside, whispers already lived in the streets. Silence had become evidence enough. The great magician was dead, and she was still alive. That was all they needed. Eyes tracked her as she walked. At the square, a small crowd had formed, and there, standing just beyond the candles, was Levi. Kind-eyed Levi. Gentle-voiced Levi. "I'm sorry," he said softly. "For what?" Her voice surprised her. "For everything." Later the accusations surfaced. Careful words, concerned tones. What they didn't notice, what no one noticed, was what didn't fit. No traces of struggle, no sign of forced magic. The death was precise, clean, intentional, too intentional. That night, alone again, it struck her. The magician had taught only one other person the old techniques, the ones that left no marks. Levi. Trust, she realized, was the most convincing illusion of all. Outside, the bells rang low, mourning the dead. Inside, her silence broke into resolve. If the town wanted a villain, she would let them look at her. Because while they were watching the girl everyone suspected, they would never see the boy hiding behind their faith.
The whispers followed her like a second shadow. By midday, they had learned her name. She felt it in the way conversations bent when she passed, in the way eyes lingered too long before snapping away. Doors closed a second faster. Smiles thinned. Sympathy curdled into suspicion so quietly that no one noticed the change, except her. She kept walking. The marketplace was louder than usual, as if the town were trying to drown itself out. Vendors called prices with forced cheer. Children laughed too sharply. Somewhere, a bell rang. Once then again, too slow to be comforting. She stopped at the edge of the square. That was when she saw him. Levi stood near the well, hands folded behind his back, posture calm in a way that felt practiced. He wore grief like a clean coat, visible, respectable, untouched by mess. When their eyes met, his expression softened, concern slipping easily into place. Everyone noticed. Of course they did.
"There," someone murmured. "He's been so strong," another said.
"Such a good boy," a third agreed. He crossed the square toward her, each step measured. When he spoke her name, it sounded careful, as if he were handling something fragile. "You shouldn't be alone," he said gently. She searched his face. There was nothing obvious.
No cruelty, no guilt.
Just kindness so polished it reflected the crowd back at itself. "I'm fine," she replied. He smiled anyway. Behind him, the old magician's tower loomed, its windows dark, its door sealed by wax and mourning ribbons. Pole had been found there at dawn, broken not by violence alone, but by betrayal, the kind that rearranged a town's faith. Levi glanced back at the tower, then lowered his voice. "They're scared," he said. "People need somewhere to put that fear." She understood what he wasn't saying. "They've chosen you." The wind shifted. For a moment, she caught a scent beneath the dust and smoke, ink and iron. Her stomach tightened.
"Oh, you were close to him," she said quietly.
Levi nodded. Like a son. The crowd watched them now. Waiting. She stepped back. Something was wrong.
Not loud.
Not obvious. Just missing, like a word on the tip of her tongue or a beat skipped in a familiar song. Levi reached out, meaning to comfort her. She flinched. For the briefest instant, so quick she might have imagined it, his eyes darkened. Not with anger.
With calculation.
Then it was gone. That night, she returned to her room and finally cried. But not for Pole. She cried because she remembered something the old magician once told her. Years ago, his voice low, as if afraid the walls could hear. "When everyone agrees too quickly," he'd said, "look for the hand that arranged the silence." Outside, footsteps paused beneath her window, then moved on. And far across the square, Levi stood in the dark, watching the tower, waiting for the town to finish choosing its truth.